This is part one of a multi-part series honoring the leadership legacy of Tupac Amaru Shakur. In this installment of Hustle and Flow, we explore what Tupac taught us about vulnerability as leadership, how truth, care, and emotion become a form of power also known as flow. Because Tupac didn't just speak to the streets, he spoke to systems. Part two will explore how systems create harm and the moral courage to protect the most vulnerable. And in future segments, we'll go deeper into the Shakur lineage and introduce a community driven patient bill of rights, tools for healing, justice, and protection. This is Hustle and Flow, a Sophia Care Alliance project, rooted in truth, guided by compassion, built for change. Let's get started. Patriarchy is a system where power stays at the top and everyone else is expected to stay quiet and fall in line. In workplaces like this, people are told to tough it out instead of speaking up about unfairness. But Tupac didn't stay silent. He spoke up, even when it was risky. He knew real change doesn't come from control. It comes from truth, care, and the courage to spark others. He once said, "I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world." That's anti patriarchy leadership, not trying to be the hero, but igniting others to lead too. Tupac was more than a rapper. He was a truth teller, a poet, and a fighter for justice. Raised by his mother, Fanny Shakur, a Black Panther, he grew up knowing how systems cause harm. His music spoke about poverty, racism, and survival, not just to entertain, but to wake people up. Tupac showed that real strength is truth and heart. He protected others with his voice. He made space for pain, love, and change. Even in chaos, he saw beauty, and he never stopped using his voice. Real leadership isn't just telling others what to do. It means speaking truth to power, even when it's risky. Tupac didn't stay quiet. He used his voice to challenge the system, upward. In this next section, we'll look at how speaking up creates change and what it costs when we stay silent. Let's start with Tupac's lesson in truth. Most systems teach us to stay silent. Don't question the boss, don't challenge unfair rules, just go along. But real leadership means naming harm, even at the top. Tupac didn't just speak to the streets, he called out injustice, loud and clear. That's how truth becomes protection, not by staying quiet, but by standing up. Music as resistance. Tupac's Changes wasn't just a song, it was a warning. He exposed how racism, poverty, and police violence are part of a system that protects power, not people. It's time to fight back. That's what Huey said. Two shots in the dark. Now Huey's dead. He was honoring Huey Newton, a Black Panther, a truth teller, gunned down for naming harm. Tupac used his voice not to defend power, but to challenge it. That's anti patriarchy leadership. Music as resistance. In Tupac's Trapped, Tupac gives voice to what it feels like to be targeted, just for surviving. The police don't protect him, they stalk him, blame him, corner him. In a patriarchal system, vulnerability is seen as a threat. But Tupac flips that. He doesn't just absorb the harm, he calls it out. That's resistance. That's leadership. Softness is strength. Patriarchy says strength means control, being tough, never showing pain. But Tupac taught us something different. Real strength is letting yourself feel. He wasn't just fire and fight, he was love, grief, and tenderness too. Patriarchy teaches us that emotions are weakness. From a young age, especially boys are told, don't cry, don't care too much, don't show your feelings. But that kind of toughness can shut down empathy, making it harder to lead, to connect, or to protect others. But Tupac did all three. He cried, he cared, he felt. He wrote Dear Mama to honor the struggle of his mother, not to look tough, but to speak truth. He cried in interviews. He spoke openly about pain, grief, and love without a mask. That's not weakness, that's real strength. In a world that tells us to harden, Tupac stayed soft and still stood strong. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Tupac wrote that. He was the rose. His community was the rose. We are the rose. In a world built on concrete, systems of control, silence, survival, growth is rebellion. Softness is strength. Beauty is truth. Love is resistance. That's what it means to lead beyond patriarchy. This concludes part one. In this part, we explored how Tupac used his voice to speak truth upward, even when it meant challenging power, and how he showed that softness isn't weakness, it's strength. In part two, we'll look at the systems that create harm and what it really means to protect the most vulnerable. Thank you for watching. A Sophia Care Alliance project. Leadership from the margins, rooted in truth, guided by compassion. Thank you for watching. Follow us at sophiacarealliance.org. Hashtag hustle and flow. Leadership hashtag anti-patriarchy in practice.